Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. In today's video, guys, we're going to be jumping into the world of AVAX, specifically to take a look at the price action of Avalanche. If you do find this video useful and informative, hit that like button. I really do appreciate that. If you're happy to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with that said, done, and out of the way, let's dive down into the charts and take a look at what is going on here with AVAX. Okay guys, so we're just on a weekly chart here. Obviously there's not a huge amount of information available to us. We here have information starting back in September of 2020. But one of the things that I do want to kind of highlight is the progress that is being made here with AVAX is actually pretty decent. They've obviously got a lot going on, and the technology is definitely something that you're going to want to do a lot more research on. It can be a little bit complicated to get your head around, but once you are there, you can see that this thing has some serious potential about it. What I'm going to do in this video is dive down into what I think is likely to happen with AVAX in terms of price appreciation, where we think the end of this bull run is likely to take AVAX price, and what we might expect to happen in the next little while as well. So on this weekly chart, what we're going to do is we're going to take and acknowledge a couple of things. Obviously there's a trend here, there was a trend here, and we're in a new trend now, right? And what we're trying to do is figure out how high our trend is likely to go. In order to do this, we're going to take a trend-based Fibonacci extension. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the low areas that we were in basically down here at the end of the year before the new year started. So basically if we take this trend of our upward direction where we went up and set a high area just up here in February, okay, that was basically a 6,991% move from September through to February. Then take this down, and we're going to take this down to the low that was achieved when Bitcoin hit its 65k down to 28k area. Okay, this was a double tap for AVAX on the 21st, or week commencing 21st of June, and the week commencing the 19th of July. That double tap there was the bottom, and helped push us then up to a massive highs. Okay, so again, we pushed past the previous high, set the new highs up in September, small pullback in October, at least the beginning, and now we're heating up again. When we take a look at this trend-based fib, we can see that it can move out to a 4.236 extension of $254. I think that's likely to be the end of the bull run for AVAX and a good appreciation overall. So some good progress could be made here in the very near future, considering that we are trading at $70.58 right now. The stochastic RSI is in a pretty good position. We could continue to see this growing quite nicely to the upside and basically start to see some pretty good price appreciation in the coming weeks and months. So with knowing that, let's jump down into our daily view. Okay, and on the daily, this is where we actually take a look at a different Fibonacci. Okay, this fib basically takes into consideration just two anchor points: the high area that we were in February and the low area that we were in June and July. When we take into consideration just those two, we can see $225. This will be a more conservative model. Okay, so obviously the weekly is indicating 254 and our daily is indicating 225. Okay, so again, these are two interesting price areas where we anticipate one being kind of the end of the bull run, one being a conservative number where we might want to lock in those profits if we're nervous at any point, or if we just want to make sure that we exit out in the bull run and don't have to worry about carrying a bag of AVAX down into the bear market. Okay, so good progress is being made, right? We can see that the new highs that have been set, and we're on that journey now to new all-time highs as well. If I just go grab our fib and just move this over a little bit so we can see that. So from our current price position to $225 is 219%. So again, not too bad from our current price of $70 up to that $225 range. We've got a stochastic RSI that's in a pretty good position. We can continue to grow this. Again, I would have liked it to be lower to maximize those gains, but again, it's not too much of a problem when it comes to the stochastic RSI. So again, loads of potential here to the upside to be had. And we are talking about moving up to our first target of 1.618 at $91.88. And again, things are definitely seem to be heating up in that direction overall. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to the advice.io dashboard, and we're going to actually load up the data for AVAX. For those who do not know, advice.io use artificial intelligence and machine learning to help us understand the underlying value of cryptocurrencies. There's a link in the description down below. It's completely free to use, so if you're not already signed up, I do really recommend it. This artificial intelligence has been right more times than I can count. So it's well worth signing up and getting a little bit more of an understanding as to what is going on with your cryptocurrencies. Now for AVAX here, we're a B2 rating overall. We can see that just here on the charts. Now this is pretty neutral, right? It's not top tier, it's not the worst tier. It's in a pretty interesting spot, and we're going to go into the data and find out why we're only a B2 rating. As we come down, we have an Amihad ratio. The Amihad ratio is your liquidity. So basically a liquidity for AVAX right now, or Avalanche, is a C2 rating. This is indicating that there are some problems with liquidity, whether that is centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges. The artificial intelligence here doesn't actually indicate that to us. But what it does tell us is that buying and selling could be a little bit more difficult at the moment when it comes to AVAX, whether that is because there's too much demand for the token and we're having a lot of a huge spike to the upside with it and not many people are selling, or maybe too many people are selling and basically that's having an impact on the liquidity as well. So interesting stuff. We'll dive into the charts on the hourly and see what the impact of that liquidity based issue could be causing for Avalanche. The other thing that we have to understand here is the Fear and Greed Index is also a rating of D. So this is the worst rating that this particular platform can give. And the Fear and Greed Index at a rating of D basically indicates extreme fear for AVAX. This is not something that's been unusual. It's pretty much been in there for the month of October. And now we're getting into November. Things are definitely starting to change. So I'm going to be monitoring this. I do think that actually AVAX is in a pretty good position looking at the charts. And I think the artificial intelligence is just looking at latency problems here in terms of that sentiment. I think that sentiment is about to shift and change and could be a really interesting time for AVAX in the coming months. As we come on down, we have the 𝗕𝗪𝗪 ratio. The 𝗕𝗪𝗪 ratio is an A2 rating. Now, even during the month of October, although it was low, it was actually still saying exposure to AVAX isn't a bad idea. The 𝗕𝗪𝗪 ratio represents our risk-reward ratio, and right now the rewards do outweigh the risks, and therefore exposure to AVAX might be a good idea. We couple this with obviously the sentiment being incredibly fearful, then obviously that's the scenario where you might want to buy that fear, okay, if of course the liquidity allows you to do so. And the moving averages are an A2, again, no problem with the 10, 50 or 100-day moving averages, and the profitability is right up there as an A1 rating, right? So overall, there are two problems that we need to acknowledge. One, liquidity seems to be a problem, and the sentiment in the market being incredibly fearful. Once those two things are resolved, I think AVAX is in a very good position to really fly to the upside. So let's jump back to the charts here and actually dive into what is going on with our hourly chart. This is where we start to actually see some of the recent price action. We can see that we have actually moved up in the last couple of days quite a significant amount of percentage points. Let me just grab hold of this. So yeah, we've moved up 19% in the last 3-4 days. So again, pretty good, but we are looking to pull back. We're looking to see some consolidation. We can see that we found a top here, a bit of resistance. I'll quickly mark that up on the chart here with a horizontal ray, and I'll grab it from over here as well, so we can see that there is an area where we have this upper resistance. This comes in at $71.99. We are looking for a pullback, so we're looking to find support. Where are we going to find the support? We are probably going to find it right in here. If I grab hold of this, we can kind of see it's going to be in this area here approximately. Okay, so we're looking to pull back probably towards our 68 area, $68.02 area, and pulling back into there should lower the stochastic RSI, get us primed then for another move to the upside. Okay, so again, we are kind of trying to find these interesting zones for us. It could be a pullback here. That's reasonable enough that we can consider it. I would say that actually it could be an impulsive move if we get this lined up right, as in we have our pullback here, and then we surge up for wave 3. We pull back for a wave 4. If we find support there, then we could surge up again for a 5th wave. Okay, so again, we are on the cusp of these all-time highs. I think we're getting close to it, but we do need to see that volatility. We need to see that fear gets sold off, right? We need to see that sentiment of extreme fear come down. We need to see that price pull back. We need to see that fear get bought up. Look at AVAX being oversold and undervalued, and then push right up past the resistance line of $71.99. And again, this could be an impulsive move if we see it that way. So as long as we don't pull back lower than our area here of 66.85. Okay, then that would be an interesting zone to say that we are an impulsive move to the upside, not a corrective move to the downside. Okay, what we don't want to do is see something like this occur. Okay, but again, we'll be mindful over this to see how this kind of plays out. I'll be optimistic for now. We'll leave the impulsive move on there, but again, all eyes are going to be on that support level of 68.02 and making sure that we don't go lower than 66.85. Okay, for AVAX. All that's looking pretty interesting stuff. Again, we also just have a look at that daily again. Obviously, we are very, very close to all-time high. Okay, so pushing past the all-time high, which according to Binance was set at $79.80, as we address trying to move up to our first target of $91.88. Overall, AVAX has a pretty bright future, as indicated within these 4.236 extensions. And again, there's a lot of noise going on those smaller time frames that it can be distracting. If we're ever in doubt, we zoom out either to the daily or, of course, the weekly. The weekly just show us a pretty nice kind of way to kind of look at the data and say, yeah, we're progressively moving to the upside. The trends are kind of showing us with $254, and progress here for Avalanche has been pretty good so far. So guys, I am going to leave the video there. Hopefully you have found this useful and informative. If you have, hit the like button, really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap that bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.